Hello everyone, this is Supersnoopy here, back with another Nostalgia Republic video. Today I have for you guys a Nostalgia Republic mini guide video. In today's mini guide video, we're just going to be going over Commando stuns and escapes. So this is going to be mainly built and kind of focused on it in a PvP sense, but some of these can be actually applied to PvE as well. I'm just going to be going over some of the things, in my opinion, that can help just in general with escaping a target and also stunning them in just many different scenarios, just when it comes down to the Commando and their abilities. So I hope you guys enjoy the Nostalgia Republic mini guide video. As always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like. And if you guys want some gaming mints, then check the link in the description down below, Catalyst Gaming Mints. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the guide. Alrighty guys, so let's get into this video right now. So I'm just going to start with stuns first. The Commando doesn't have many stuns in his arsenal, but they still are very useful in their own way. The first one that he has is the Cryo Grenade. When this is used on an enemy, it will simply stun them for 4 seconds just to completely freeze them in time. The second one could be also considered a stun, but more or less it's kind of a knockback. It's this Concussion Charge. When you activate this on an enemy, it does knock them back. And it also does tend to, or essentially reduce the movement speed of the target by 50%. So it can be a little annoying just essentially to slow down an enemy, just keep them away from you, and to just try and do anything you possibly can. And then the final one is the Concussive Round. Now, in PvE, this lasts for up to 60 seconds, but in PvE, I believe it lasts for 8 seconds. So this can be incredibly useful when you're trying to make a quick escape and you're just trying to mess with the enemy. So as you can tell, I can activate it right here, but this also can be used in correlation with a tech override, which does make it instant, so you can quickly use it on an enemy and just completely stun them and keep them dead in their tracks. So with the stuns in general, the Cryo Grenade is very useful when you just want to get a quick stun on an enemy. Just keep in mind that they obviously can break out of it with the purging effect. The Concussive Charge is useful for just knocking people back, so if you are on the move, then that can be very useful. And then the Concussive Round can be really a good chance for you to stun the enemy, just to not only heal up, but to get better prepared and just ready for an attack. So now after that, I'm just going to be going over the escapes. And then after we are done with the escapes, I'm just going to be going over how these can be used in correlation with each other and can make you really devastating, and can also allow you to get a chance to escape for a better attack. So the escapes for the Commando can be summed up as essentially the run and gun. And what I mean by that is you have the propulsion round. When you hit this, it will make you fly back and you can just get away from the enemy. The other one is hold the line. When I activate this, I will get immunity to just movement impairing effects and all that different stuff. My movement speed will be increased and I will be able to make a complete run for it. And then obviously this could also go into the same category is the Concussion Charge. So you can just activate this right here. Just knock the enemy back. As you can tell, they are slowed down, and I can just make a complete run for it and just try to escape. Another one that could be considered right here is this one that allows you to basically purge movements. This is essentially a go-to item whenever you do get stunned by an enemy and you just really want to escape very fast. This can always be used, but just keep in mind that there is a 2-minute cooldown that will just kind of stop you in your tracks. So just keep in mind that this is kind of one use unless something else happens or you just wait out the cooldown. So now that we have both the escapes and the stuns just mentioned, I'm going to go over some very quick scenarios, mainly specific in PvP, and I will include an extra one at the end just in a PvE scenario. So the first one we're going to be going is the aggressive approach. Essentially, you're just going straight into the battle. You just want to attack the enemy. Say, for example, this is my target right here, the Warzone training dummy. I'm just, I'm a DPS commando. I'm just shooting some grav rounds, just trying to attack him. So I can obviously just really go for the attack. I just completely stun them and do all the different stuff. I can use a Kyro Grenade to completely stop them in their tracks, just completely just stop them from doing anything. I can use a Concussion Charge to knock them back, just to keep them away from me if they, you know, do have a lightsaber, or you just want to just interrupt their charge. And then while these are not escapes or anything along the lines of that, you can technically, or not really a stun, you can interrupt them obviously with your disabling shot. And then if you do want to snare the enemy, you can use an Electronet, which does build up on them when they move. It also does slow them down, so that is something as well. Could be considered technically a stun, but I feel like the Concussion Charge is more of an effect because it does slow down the enemy and does actually knock them away from you. So besides that, you can just continue to do the aggressive approach, as you can tell, just using all my little abilities, just trying to slow down the enemy. Now I can use the Concussive Round in a battle. Just keep in mind that it is quite delayed, so a lot of people wouldn't really recommend doing it, and I personally wouldn't really recommend doing it. But if you do have your tech override still active and you don't use it for anything else, if you just want to get a quick little stun in there to interrupt them again, just to give you a quick advantage, and they might have actually broken out of the stun, you can just quickly do it right there, stun them, maybe get a chance to better prepare yourself for a special attack you want to use, or just heal up and survive. So that's essentially kind of like the aggressive approach right there. No need for much escaping, just mainly stunning, just taking down the enemy. Now the other scenario is the low health, health. Essentially, I'm gonna die scenario. I need to get out of here. So what a lot of people will do, especially me in this scenario, if you still have your Kyro Grenade active, you're just taking too much pressure, you can quickly throw it on the enemy that you really want to stun. Just say, for example, that they break out of it. If I didn't use my Concussive Round, and this is why typically it's useful just to kind of keep it active and not on cooldown, then I can try to go for the quick little stun. If my tech override isn't active, then I might have to take the risk and channel it. But if you do pull it off and just hit it on the enemy and they can't break out of it, it's very useful. That's why I would also recommend using the Kyro Grenade first, because you might bait the enemy into actually purging the ability, just breaking out of it, and then you can hit them with a Concussive Round, and then they're stunned for 8 seconds, so it would give you a really good chance to escape. Now, after you just try your stuns, if they start to fail or it doesn't really work out, you can quickly use a propulsion round. You can turn around, hold the line. Just try not to backpedal, because if you do backpedal, then it isn't going to work very well in your favor, because when you actually backpedal, you're just going really, really slow, and the enemy can very, very easily catch up to you. And even though it's still technically a stun, if it is a lightsaber user and they do manage to jump back to you, then you can use the Concussion Charge at this point. I wouldn't recommend using it before that, because like I said, you don't know if the enemy's just going to jump to you or they're just going to do something else and just appear. Because if you knock them back, you not only just stun them for a little bit, but you do also slow them down. So that can never be fun. So that's essentially like the two little things right there, essentially the aggressive route, and then also kind of like the running route. And then escaping route. Essentially, they both work in very similar fashions, except one is just trying to take down the enemy versus just trying to leave and get away when you are low. But if it's kind of like in the middle, you can use both of these in a very similar way, and everything should be fine. And then before I end off this video, just the very quick PvE mention. So just say, for example, I'm just fighting someone right here. I just want to completely mess with them and all that different stuff, and essentially there's just a group of mobs. I want to stun one. If there's a really strong enemy that isn't immune to stuns, I can use a Concussive Round on them just to completely stun them and just keep them away from just kind of hurting me and just attacking me. I can then move on to another. I can use a Kyro Grenade just to stop them dead in their tracks. It just really gets some quick damage without them hurting me. And then I can use essentially Propulsion Round and hold the line in unison if I do have to kite. And then also Concussion Charge is always an option right there. So if the enemies are too much for you, you just don't want them near you, you can always hit that. Just hit that quick button right there, knock them back, stun them. And then an Electronet, obviously, if you do want to snare an enemy, not only hurt them a lot, then you can use that. Even though it's still, I don't consider it much of a stun or escape, it still is very viable. But if it isn't on cooldown, then it won't be an option. But besides that, that's essentially all I really have for this quick little mini guide video, just going over essentially just the stuns and escape basics for a Commando. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Star Wars Republic guide video. As always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.